I used to think relationships worked like startups. You invest early, you tolerate losses, you work obscene hours believing that eventually, if you stay disciplined and loyal, the thing will mature into something worth owning. The return I wanted wasn't money, it was respect. I didn't realize I was never an investor. I was the infrastructure. Her name was Chloe. She was beautiful in a way that demanded attention, the kind of woman who knew exactly how long to hold eye contact and when to look bored. I met her when I was 28, already making six figures, already owning my house, already stable. Her mother, Linda, identified me immediately. Safe, she said the first night we met, sipping wine I paid for in a home I paid the mortgage on. Safe. Chloe needs stability, a safe place to land after she's had her fun. She didn't whisper it, she evaluated me. I smiled. I thought it was awkward honesty. I thought safe meant marriage material. I didn't know it meant utility. For 3 years, I financed the Chloe experience. I paid off $12,000 in credit card debt because it was stressing her creativity. I covered the lease on her luxury car because she needed a specific image for her freelance social media consulting job, a job that somehow lost money every month. And every time I hesitated, Linda appeared like an auditor. A real man wouldn't nickel and dime his future wife. Don't be so transactional, Mark. Men like you should be grateful women like Chloe choose you. I kept waiting for Chloe to defend me. She never did. She just smiled, adjusted her mother's scarf, changed the subject. I swallowed it because I thought commitment would fix the hierarchy. Once I proposed, once I made it official, I would stop being the background utility and become the partner. That belief cost me a ring more expensive than my first car. I chose her 27th birthday, booked the most pretentious French restaurant in the city, suit required, reservations booked months out. I wanted the moment to be undeniable. When I arrived, Linda was already there, dressed better than Chloe. "Surprise!" Chloe squealed. "Mom didn't want to be alone tonight." My stomach sank. The dinner was a slow humiliation. Linda sent back wine, criticized the table, dominated the conversation with stories of wealthy men and failed marriages. Chloe laughed along, nodding, orbiting her mother like gravity demanded it. I waited. Dessert menus arrived. That was my cue. I stood up. My hand shook as I pulled the ring from my pocket. The restaurant quieted. Phones tilted. Glasses paused midair. I dropped to one knee. 3 years condensed into one breath. "Chloe," I said, holding the box open, "will you marry me?" Silence. Then Linda sighed. Not quietly, not accidentally. "Really?" she said, leaning back. "This?" She looked at Chloe, not at me. "Is this your finish line? You're in your prime. You could do so much better than a man who balances your checkbook." The words landed like ice water. I looked at Chloe. This was the moment, the only moment that mattered. All she had to do was say my name. She didn't. She giggled. Not nervous laughter, not shock. A soft conspiratorial giggle, like they were sharing a private joke at my expense. "Mom, stop," Chloe said, smiling. "You're so bad." Then she turned to me, her voice dropping. "Babe, get up. You're embarrassing me. Maybe we shouldn't rush this. We should talk about your 5-year plan first." She looked at her mother for approval. Linda raised her glass. Something inside me closed. Not broke, closed. I stood up slowly, snapped the ring box shut. "You're right," I said calmly. Chloe blinked. "What?" "She can do better," I said, loud enough for nearby tables to hear. "You're absolutely right." I pulled cash from my wallet, covered my share, dropped it on the table. "Happy birthday," I said. Then I walked out. They didn't follow. They didn't panic. Linda laughed and told her to order dessert. They thought I'd cool off, apologize, beg. They didn't know I was already calculating time. I had 4 hours before they came home. 4 hours to end a 3-year mistake. I didn't go home to cry. I went home to work. The apartment was quiet when I unlocked the door, too quiet. The kind of silence that usually feels comforting, but now felt temporary, like a countdown had started. I checked the time. 9:42 p.m. I had maybe 3 hours before Chloe and her mother returned from celebrating my replacement. I loosened my tie, rolled up my sleeves, and started. I didn't rage pack. I didn't throw anything. Rage is sloppy. Rage leaves evidence. This wasn't emotional. It was procedural. I started with the office, my desk, my files, my laptop, my external drives. Anything tied to my income went into boxes first. My passport, birth certificate, insurance documents, car title, gone. I unplugged the router I paid for and reset it to factory defaults, left it blinking uselessly on the floor. Next was the bedroom. I took my clothes, my shoes, my winter coat. I left the designer dresses, the jewelry, the vanity clutter. I didn't want reminders. I wanted separation. The bed stayed, the furniture stayed, the art she picked because it felt expensive stayed. I wasn't erasing her. I was extracting myself. By midnight, the apartment looked staged, like someone had lived there but lightly, like a hotel checkout after a long stay. My life fit into boxes stacked neatly by the door. That's when I sat down at the kitchen counter and wrote the note. Not long, not emotional. I agree. You can do better. I'm giving you the space to find it. Don't contact me. I placed it on the counter where she always dropped her purse. Then I left. I didn't block her number yet. I wanted her to feel the silence first. She came home at 1:17 a.m. I know because my phone exploded at 1:18. Missed call, text, another call. Where are you? This isn't funny. Mark, answer me. At 2:26, the tone changed. Did you seriously leave? Call me right now. My mom says you're being dramatic. I didn't respond. At 2:04 a.m., she sent a photo. The ring box, open, empty. The caption, "You forgot this." I almost laughed. I blocked her number. The next morning, Linda tried. She left a voicemail from Chloe's phone before I blocked it fully. Mark, this is incredibly immature. Men don't run when challenged. Chloe needs reassurance right now. You embarrassed her in public, and now you've escalated things. Come home and apologize. She never once asked if I was okay. That told me everything. I blocked her too. The fallout was not immediate. It never is. For the first week, Chloe played the victim, told people I had commitment issues, that I snapped, that she dodged a bullet. People nodded. People always nod when the story is delivered confidently. Then, practical reality arrived. Rent was due. The utilities I paid for shut off. The credit card she used for groceries declined. The car payment bounced. That's when the messages started coming from new numbers. Soft ones first. I miss our routine. You were my safe place. We were good together, you know that. Then sharper. You can't just abandon responsibilities. You owe me an explanation. Everyone thinks you're unstable. I didn't answer a single one. Silence is terrifying when someone is used to control. 3 weeks later, she showed up at my new place. I hadn't told her where I moved, but she found me anyway. People like Chloe always do. She stood in the lobby, makeup rushed, eyes red but dry, performative sadness, still rehearsing. "Can we talk?" she asked, like we were co-workers after a disagreement. I didn't invite her in. "What do you want?" I asked. She swallowed. "I made a mistake." I waited. She didn't say, "I'm sorry." She said, "You didn't think I'd actually leave." There it was. Not remorse, misjudgment. "You humiliated me," she added. "You could have handled it privately." I nodded. "You laughed at me publicly." She crossed her arms, defensive.
You put pressure on me. I offered you a choice. You made it." Her voice sharpened. "So that's it? 3 years and you just disappear?" "No," I said calmly. "I left." She stared at me, searching for anger, for longing, for weakness. She found none. "You'll regret this," she said finally. "Men like you don't do better." I smiled. Not kindly. I already did. I stepped back inside and closed the door. The last I heard about Chloe came months later. She'd moved back in with her mother. The luxury car was gone. The social media consulting quietly disappeared. The men she dated after me didn't stay long. They never do when there's nothing left to extract. I didn't feel joy about it. I felt nothing, which was the point. Here's the truth most people won't say. Closure doesn't come from conversations. It doesn't come from apologies. It doesn't come from understanding why someone treated you badly. It comes from leaving cleanly enough that they can't rewrite you. I wasn't the man she lost. I was the standard she failed to rise to. And the silence I gave her, that was the only answer she ever deserved.